Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with breaking news. The first case of a new coronavirus, which has sickened hundreds in China, has now been reported in the U.S. The CDC says the patient is an American citizen who recently returned from China around January 15th. The patient is in his 30s and is said to be hospitalized in good condition. Officials say he is not considered to be a threat to the public, adding he had no symptoms when he first arrived at the Seattle-Tacoma airport, but later contacted doctors when he began to feel sick. The CDC says they're preparing for additional cases to be reported in the country.
So there's nothing really distinctive about this virus from its clinical presentation, which presents a challenge to doctors trying to sort out the difference between a coronavirus infection and, for example, flu.
So far, roughly 300 people have gotten sick and at least 6 people have died. A 22-year-old man is now sentenced to 15 months in prison after leading police on a pursuit and crashing into a fence at Hector International Airport. A Cass County judge sentenced Andrew Travis Brooke Hadley to 15 months in prison today after he pleaded guilty to 4 counts, including theft and reckless endangerment. Brooke Hadley was arrested in August of 2018 after police say he burglarized a home, stole a vehicle, and then led officers on a chase. He was given credit for serving over 5 months in jail. He's also got 2 years of probation, and if he violates that, could serve 5 years in prison.
He was charcoaled. He's got second-degree burns. They life-flighted him, I think, down to Minneapolis.
A man from Frazee, Minnesota is clinging to life after a house fire last night trapped him in his home. Neighbors tell us the man has endured so much already with the recent deaths of his parents. Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero traveled to Frazee to find out what happened last night.
The home along Main Avenue in Frazee sits empty, burnt up, and torn up, the blaze killing 2 dogs inside. A 24-year-old also inside the home was severely burned. Neighbors say his name is Morgan Fincher.
Yeah, they just need a break. They have way too much negative in their things. They need some positive. They lost a couple of dogs, the Rottweiler that they walked every day, and then the little Chihuahua.
Brian Felt has known the family for 5 years, and his heart aches for them.
This family's been through a lot in the last 5 years.
Felt was home Monday night when he saw patrol cars whizzing by his window.
I seen the smoke coming out of the windows and the flames coming out of the top of the roof. And the cop was already in there trying to get Morgan out.
Felt says the street was flooded with emergency responders working to put out the flames. When Fincher was brought out the home, Felt says he placed a blanket on him. Fincher was flown by helicopter to a Twin Cities hospital.
He was charcoaled. I have heard that his vital signs are stabilized now, and he's got second-degree burns all over his body.
As you can see behind me, yellow tape still surrounds the home, and everything inside is destroyed. The landlord tells me he feels bad for the victims, who he knew very well.
Their mom passed away, and then their dad just recently passed away. One of the brothers is in the hospital. So we want to make sure that they know that we're thinking about them and that we care about them. So it's just a horrible thing that happened.
Matthew Abraham, whose family has owned the home since the 60s, says he has that family in his thoughts and is praying for them. In Frazee, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
The cause of the fire is being investigated by the Minnesota Fire Marshal. It is warmer out there today, but don't let that fool you into picking up the pace when you're driving. Roads are still very slick, and plenty of drivers have lost control, ending up in the ditch. Let's get the latest from Hutch and your no-wait weather planner. Hutch?
Yes, thanks a lot. And I got to tell you, it's that black ice. We have that wind that has been very gusty here in the Southern Valley in particular throughout the day, causing snow to blow over area roads, and it indeed has caused problems. Gusts over 50 miles per hour in the Sisseton Hills, where we have wind advisories and a winter weather advisory for Roberts County, including Sisseton, where gusts have exceeded 50 miles per hour today. Gwinner, 37 mile per hour gusts at this hour, and it's no picnic out there as we take a look live at our Dakota Magic Casino camera on Interstate 29. Here is a look at the temperatures. We are climbing to near 20 or into the 20s. Radar showing a little bit of wintry mix out there from Ellendale through Lisbon. Here's the wind forecast, because this is key in your evening planner. It will stay gusty in the Sisseton Hills, and the rest of us breezy with winds gusting over 20 miles per hour until we get into the overnight hours. It finally settles down. Fargo-Moorhead, temperatures steady to slowly climbing through midnight and then falling back just a little bit, with south winds decreasing to around 10 to 20 miles per hour as we go through the depth of the overnight. So icy, slow it down. How about your hump day forecast? I'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect there coming up in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch. As we mentioned, dangerous driving conditions have caused several crashes across the valley. Earlier today, the school bus slid off I-94 into the median. No students were on board and no one was hurt. In Arthur, North Dakota, one driver was cited after crashing into a school bus with students on board. The bus was slowing down to make a turn when this van crashed into the back of it. 4 people were on the bus. None of them were hurt. And over in Minnesota, a viewer sent us this photo along Highway 200 near Mahnomen. The driver says they hit the ditch because of drifts and an ongoing vehicle. The driver is okay. Speaking of accidents, authorities across the valley were busy over the weekend responding to nearly 200 crashes during the winter storm. In Grand Forks, officials say they responded to 55 crashes between Friday morning and late Monday night. Officers say 8 of those crashes are considered hit and run. Fargo police say throughout the weekend they responded to 141 crashes. With icy roads still a problem for drivers throughout the valley, law enforcement reminds you to slow down and give yourself extra time when traveling. This morning, the city of Fargo hit the streets downtown to wrap up their 2-day snow removal efforts, and tow trucks were out again clearing the way for them. Fargo-Moorhead Towing tells us 18 people were towed just this morning, in addition to the 16 people we told you were towed Monday. The city was asking drivers to park on city ramps and lots or on the avenues that were just cleared. The people who parked on streets from 2nd Street to University Drive had their vehicles removed. President Donald Trump is talking about trade and tariffs at meetings in Switzerland with other world leaders. The president met with the Swiss president today on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. He said the two would discuss a bilateral trade deal with Switzerland. President Trump also was asked about the U.S. trade dispute with France over the so-called digital tax. That new French tax is one that American tech giants such as Amazon and Google are forced to pay.
We had a very good conversation, worked out very well. The U.S. is very happy with the result, and we appreciate very much what President Macron did. Thank you.
His phone call with President Trump yesterday, the president of France tweeted, quote, "We will work together on a good agreement to avoid tariff escalation." Heavy metal musician and Black Sabbath lead singer Ozzy Osbourne has announced he's been struggling with Parkinson's disease for nearly a year. The cause of the disease is unknown and there's still no cure. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard found out today why people in our area should be more aware of Parkinson's. Callie?
Andrea, add Ozzy Osbourne to the list that includes Linda Rodstadt, Alan Alda, Michael J. Fox, and Neil Diamond. It's estimated that there are 100 million Americans living with Parkinson's disease. North Dakota and Minnesota have the highest rates of the neurodegenerative disease per capita. Experts say people in agricultural states are more likely to get the disease because of the chemicals used. Parkinson's looks different for everyone. Health officials say symptoms progress over the years and say this is what you should watch out for. The first is tremors. Your fingers, thumbs, hands, or chin may start to shake. Other signs are small, cramped handwriting, loss of smell, trouble sleeping, trouble moving or walking. A health expert told me today that her dad battled with another common symptom, a soft or low voice.
It was really heartbreaking because he was such an active person. The one thing that's really important for people who have Parkinson's is moving, keep moving. The more you can exercise and move your body, it can keep those symptoms at bay.
Even though there isn't a cure, people with Parkinson's can undergo surgery and medications to ease the symptoms. Andrea?
All right. Thank you, Callie. To learn more about the disease, visit our Valley News Live app. The founder of an iconic North Dakota establishment died this week. The Kroll's Diner North Dakota Facebook pages posted that Jim Glatt died on January 18th at the age of 85. They say he left a lasting and positive impact on his community and customers at the 5 Kroll's Diner locations at Fargo, Bismarck, Mandan, and Minot. The German-American diner has been serving North Dakota favorites since 1969. A popular musical event in Lakes Country is being moved off a frozen lake for safety reasons this year. OTC on Ice is usually held on Otter Tail Lake, but because of the depth of the ice this year, it's being moved to Thumper Pond in Otter Tail. Event organizers say they have been checking ice thickness frequently and found spots on Otter Tail with as much as 18 inches of ice, and also found spots with as little as 9 inches of ice. As